think I covered, we did the pinion seal and stuff. I think I talked about that already. Got some new brake lines. Got to put those in yet. And I'm thinking I might have a leaky master cylinder. I don't know. I may unbolt it, take a look at it. I kind of want to take that booster off and give it a paint job. It looks like dog nuts. How it got on there like that and not got a paint job, I don't know. Probably before my time. I'm kind of wanting to fix that. Make it at least look nicer. But I ended up putting new ground cables on, new positive cable. I found a better starter cable. So I got to put another ground cable from the frame to the engine block. I just had some some hot engine start issues, and usually it's a grounding issue, and the positive was too small and the ground cable was wore out, and my starter cable was starting to separate. It was original cable, so I just figured I'd cable everything up, get it in better shape so it's more reliable. I thought for a moment it was the starter, but the starter is relatively new. So this is essentially what I was talking about. You can see I ran 2 new ground cables. There's a lug on the passenger side of the block behind the alternator. It is a slightly larger bolt size than what these cables are typically drilled to, so make sure and enlarge that hole in the end of the cable. Just enough to clear, I'm going to say it's maybe a 7/16 bolt, possibly. I don't know, it's the next size up. And all I did, if you can see it, I see it better than I can, I just secured it to the stand. And what it does is, there's, especially with this particular mount here in these 460s, there's a big chunk of rubber in there. And it sometimes can act like an isolator and doesn't really provide a good ground. So by simply running the cable from the lug where you're joining it on the block to the stand, completes a good circuit to the chassis. And typically you have a body to frame ground or battery to body ground or something like that as well. So you end up with good solid grounds. But this is what I've been doing lately, especially on the trucks, is I'll run the ground down to the engine block and then jump it to the bottom to the frame stand. That way it makes sure I get a good chassis ground for the engine. And this normally takes care of any of the slow starting, especially with making sure I got a cable upgrade, which, like I said earlier, I put on a new battery cables, 4 gauge on the negative. It's a 2 gauge on the positive. Next to making them myself, that's about as big as you can buy anymore. So, and that was what Napa carried, and I prefer the lead style rather than the stupid lead-free ones. Just me. I'm not going to die of lead poisoning at any point in time. So, and then I reconnected the cable down here, which, of course, I put the light away. But the cable happened to be perfect length, and it's another 4 gauger, which was what was in it. I was wanting to find a 2 gauge, but Napa didn't have any 2 gaugers, and anywhere else they don't do the lead free, or they didn't have that terminal size, I should say. So anyways, we've got that hooked back up. Hopefully that does the trick. I mean, it's cruddy looking because it's sad, but the starter, if you looked, it does have a Napa sticker on it, and it hasn't been in there that long, because I haven't grown it that much in the last few years. So I'm thinking I just had ground issues, bad cabling and ground issues, so hopefully that does the trick. And debating, looking at my shoes, you know, I'm getting down there probably less than 50%. And of course these look like crap because they've just been sitting, so I may weight on doing the brake lines. I mean, they're not going, you know, crazy, but they're starting to get really chalky, which I've never seen them really doing that, but I think they're starting to go. But I'm going to drive it a little bit. They're not blowing apart yet or nothing or giving me anything I'm really worried about. But I'm going to replace these. So I think I'll do that when I do the brakes. I'll go through the calipers. I got kits for these. As long as I can get them apart, because some of the stuff. That was the other thing, is I'm seeing if I start messing with this system, this thing is going to be in the shop longer. I see more broken stuff ready to happen. Oh, I got this wheel on still. I got to finish polishing this one. I just got it started, but I never finished it. But I can't really see it. That brake line's about the same way. Even the rear one on the rear axle. So I think what I'm going to do is just get this stuff done here. I do need to do the valve stem seals, so I have that yet to do. So I think what I'll do that next. And once I do the valve stem seals, and new valve cover gaskets, it's got a leak. You can see it's got a little drip from the power steering box, and of course the back of the engine. I'm not sure if that's a rear main or a pan. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it's been sitting in here for probably a month or more, and that's all it's dripped. Still a drip, still drives me nuts. Still hate leaks. But one of those was the power steering pump. I tightened up the return line. It may be getting a little hard, but it took a few more turns, so we're going to see what it does. That puddle there, that bigger one, is coming from the power steering box. The input seal, where the steering rag joint and everything are, the input shaft, it's leaking from there. And they make a kit for that. It's just kind of a bitch because you got to pull the box out, or you kind of have to pull the box out. I think in my younger days I wiggled myself in there and done it with the box in, but I'm no longer skinny and nimble like that, so I'm going to take this box out. That's what I mean. There's lots more repairs to do. Just, I'm running out of time and I need to get this thing out the door. That little bit of leak, annoying as it is, it's not that bad. I'm going to let it go. We will get back to it. Good wintertime thing or something. I'm going to get it moving, get it rolling. I still got floor pans to put in this thing, so, you know, it's got plenty more shop time. That's for damn sure. But I need to get that duster in here because I want to get it sold. I can use the cash, I can use the space, and then look for the next one or two I need to get rid of as well. Get some room in here. We'll do brakes later. They're getting down there, but they're not that bad. I'm not going to hot rod the thing around anyways. And as you can see, I've got more pressing issues like massive amounts of daylight in the floor. That's kind of important. Kind of want to handle that, you know. Because I'd like to put carpets and door seals back in. It doesn't have any door seals in it now because it's totally pointless to put them in. There's nothing to glue them to. You know, so screw it. I'll just wait till I put the floor pans in. I can put my door seals and stuff in. That's all stuff I want to do though, so